And welcome everybody to this session. My name is Tom Clendon, and I'm here to give you some advice. I'm here to give you some support. I'm here to talk about SBR and, what it takes to pass this examination. The first thing I'd really like to do is to very briefly introduce myself to you. And the reason that ACCA is there is because I am an ACCA member. So I did these examinations. I mean, a long time ago, and they were not done on computer, and it was before the internet. But I did these examinations at the same time as working. And so I know what it's like to have that pressure and to make those sacrifices. And for me, it was absolutely worthwhile, transform my life. And it made me realize that I didn't want to work in practice. That was not my vocation. And because I've got the qualification of ACCA, I was able to change careers. In fact, I was able to change countries. Yeah, I've lived and I've worked abroad in Singapore. But my long-term employer was Kaplan. I spent over 20 years with Kaplan, very happy years, teaching ACCA, running their London office, and taking up opportunities abroad, here and there and everywhere. Very rewarding, very enjoyable times. But I left them 10 years ago to go and live permanently in Singapore. And when I came back, I took advantage. This was pre-COVID. Pre-COVID, I took advantage of opportunities that presented themselves to me, and I have been teaching online ever since. And arguably, there's a full circle because I now still do a lot of work for ACCA, sometimes in the background, doing train the trainer stuff, sometimes front and center, delivering webinars to students, preparing material to help them out in terms of SBR. So that's a little bit about me. That's a little bit about me. Welcome, welcome. In a strange way, I would like to learn a little bit about you. I would like to understand who is in the room tonight. Yeah, what we've got in common. And in order to do that, one way of achieving the objective is to ask you to do a poll. And it's anonymous. It's fun. It doesn't go anywhere, but it just gives me an understanding and gives you an understanding of who is also in the room tonight. So if you could, I would be very grateful if you could complete the poll that you have in front of you. Okay, just another minute or 30 seconds or even 10 seconds. These are not challenging questions. They're just kind of asking you to get off the fence and tell me something about yourself in an anonymous way. Okay, I'm going to leave it there and I'm going to share the results so that we can all see the picture. So 3/4 of you didn't do skills. 3/4 of you came to ACCA direct from university, having been exempt. I'll be honest with you, that is slightly higher than normal. I on average, it's a majority. On average, it's something like 60% of my students typically haven't done skills. Now, if you've done skills, respect. If you've done skills, you're battle hardened, you've passed ACCA exams, you know what it's all about. Those of you who have been exempt, some of you will have done a lot of financial reporting at university, and some of you may be a little bit rusty or may have the odd gap. I want to reassure you that I teach to the exam. I want to reassure you that I do not assume knowledge. I do not say, oh, you've done this before at FR. I'm not going to waste my time on it. Let me just teach you the complicated stuff. That is not my style. I want you to pass this exam. And in order to pass this exam, I believe you should know the basics. I believe you should understand the fundamentals. And then you can pick up A, the easy marks, and B, you've then got half a chance of understanding the more complicated stuff. So I'm not embarrassed to say I teach everything about SBR. I start at the beginning and I go right the way through. And it may mean that for some of you, because there is an overlap with FR, there is an overlap. It may mean for some of you, some of my course is easy. Some of my courses are recap. Fantastic. Not a problem. Quite nice sometimes to sit in a lecture and to know what's happening and to understand about the framework or how to calculate goodwill or the leases. All these things are very examinable at SBR, and you may have covered them at FR, but I don't make that assumption. Question 2. The majority of you are virgins at this level. And you're opting, therefore, quite rightly, to do strategic business reporting as your first exam. It's your bedrock. It's your foundation to the rest of strategic business, to the rest of the strategic professional stage. Yeah, welcome. Welcome. Just under half of you have done another exam. Fair enough. So you know what it takes to pass SBR. But let me warn you that SBR is much different to strategic business leader. If you've done strategic business leader, fantastic. You know how to bullshit. Yeah, you know how to get through an exam. SBR is a different beast. There's a serious technical core to the paper, as well as numbers, as well as the ability to write. But yeah, if you pass an exam already, fantastic. You've broken your duck, you're on your way. I'm glad most of you like the idea of studying financial reporting. I'm glad most of you like the idea of online learning. All right. Online learning can be different. You can have good experiences and bad experiences of it. But I'm glad the majority of you like it. It's certainly very, very flexible. And if you like, is the modern way. So there we go. Thank you for sharing that information. Gives me a little bit of an idea as to who we've got in the room tonight. Yeah, what do I want to say? What do I want to say? Yeah, sometimes a picture paints 1,000 words. But the structure of tonight's session, it's going to end with your Q&As. All right, I'm going to allow plenty of time for questions and answers. All right, answers will be hopefully coming from me. And if we want to, I can easily turn off the mute thing and you can talk to me direct. I haven't got a problem with that if that's what you want to do. But I just want to talk briefly about the exam itself and to mention a number of resources, some of which are paid for and some of which are free. All right, so 3 things I want to do. I want to talk about the exam. Like all ACCA exams, it's out of 100 marks. Thank God you only need 50 to pass. All right. And it's a 3-hour, 15-minute exam. Now, it's a very time-pressured exam, very time-pressured. And that's because there's only 4 professional marks. So anybody who has done another strategic professional paper will be aware that the other strategic professional exams have 20 marks of professional marks, which are kind of non-technical marks. SBR is time pressured. Not only is it time pressured, but there is no choice whatsoever in the exam. Every question you have to do. Now, this informs the design of my course. I have to teach you everything because anything can come up, and whatever comes up, you've got to have a go at. And I've got to make you good at exam technique so that you not only have the knowledge, but you have the ability to answer the questions. There's no point in being a guru, a technical whiz, unless you can answer the questions in the right way, in an applied way. This is not about rote learning. This is about understanding, yeah, and being able to answer the questions. It's mostly written. There are a few numbers in question 1. There will definitely be some number crunching around group accounts, not mindless, not heavy, but subtle, because you're manipulating a pre-populated spreadsheet, and it's very different every time. But I would say typically in an exam, 80, 85%, 75%, 80% of the marks are for words. This is the final level. The computer generates the numbers. Your assistant, your junior generates the numbers. The spread, you're an analyst, you're a finance director, you're a communicator, you're a decision maker. Yeah, you're not like head down churning out the numbers. You're explaining what they actually mean. So question 1 is where numbers are always tested. And question 1 is on groups. Only it won't just be about groups. There'll be other things going on. Now, those of you who've done FR will have done group accounts at FR. Fantastic. But you won't have done it in the same way as in SBR, and you won't have done it to the same depth, because we can have foreign subs. Yeah, we can have overseas subs. We can have step acquisitions. We can have all sorts of weird and wonderful control-to-control transactions. All of this will become clear. What you're doing in question 1 is you're given the answer. You're given a draft balance sheet, statement of financial position, prepared for the group, or P&L or cash flow, but you're given the draft final accounts. But you're then told, oh, we forgot to do the impairment review. Oh, we forgot to record the change in accounting policy. Oh, actually, we showed this as an associate, but it's really a sub, or vice versa. So therefore, you then have to take the spreadsheet that you're given and just say, that goes up by 5, that goes down by 3, that changes by 8, and you kind of, move the numbers around. And then you have to explain what you've done, why you've done it. It's not just a number crunching process. Could be a P&L, could be a statement of financial position, could be a cash flow. I will prepare you for all 3. Ethics. The pillars. Yeah, objectivity, professional competence, professional behavior, integrity, confidentiality. The principles, they're going to be tested every time in question 2 in a practical scenario, in a practical situation. It's not about theory. It's not abstract. Yeah, you're not writing an academic essay. You're being pitched in a practical scenario where somebody needs your help in analyzing the problem, your help in giving them a solution as to what to do. The marks are there. Application, application, application. We will cover this. We will cover this. Now, question 3 and 4 are basically the same. Yeah, question 3 and 4 are basically the same in that they cover a range of different accounting standards. And again, the way to earn marks, and I'm all about earning marks, I'm exam focused, the way to earn marks is to take your knowledge, take the information within the question, mix it up, and come up with a solution. So your answer is partly knowledge, partly what's in the question, and it's melded together. You cannot go into the exam with a pre-prepared answer that you dump down. If you find yourself in the exam writing stuff from memory, you're not going to be earning marks because it won't be answering the question that's been set. You must apply. And, accounting standards, we tend to study them in silos, but often they are tested in an integrated way, in an holistic way. And I talked about this in my latest podcast. We'll come back to the podcast later. Question 4, it is about accounting standards, but sometimes there's a little twist in question 4 around investor focus. And what I mean by that is that you're forced to consider the situation from an investor's point of view. Why does a shareholder want to know about cash flow? Can you explain to a shareholder why the finance cost and the interest paid is a different number? So it's very practical. Yeah. And it's not about rote learning. It is about demonstrating an understanding of the principles. You will be thrown into a new situation. Your doctor, your GP, your general practitioner, he doesn't know, she doesn't know. The patient comes in, you could say that you've got a headache, you could say you've got sore feet. They don't know what's about to confront them. They're professionals, and they have to be able to take their medical knowledge, look at you, and come up with a diagnosis and come up with a treatment. And that's the same really in this exam scenario. You have the knowledge, you're the doctor, the patient is coming in, the question is coming in, and you're having to apply your knowledge to that unique situation. Every patient is unique. Every exam question is unique. Question 4, though, has a track record of being around alternative performance measures, APM, alternative performance measures. Sometimes a current issue is in there as well, but you're always explaining. What do you see? What is that a slide of? What animal are you looking at? Leia thinks it's a duck. Yeah. Leia's looking that way. Tash is looking that way because Tash thinks it's a rabbit. Rachel uses the word bunny. So we've got 3 rabbits and 1 duck. Who's right? Who's wrong? Nobody's wrong. That's the point. Nobody's wrong. Because you look that way and you see a bill, but you look the other way and you see a pair of ears. I think SBR sometimes is a bit like that. If you're asked to calculate goodwill, the number is right or wrong. If you're asked to calculate a deferred tax, the answer is right or wrong. But if you're asked to explain what goodwill represents for 3 marks, or to explain why we account for deferred tax for 3 marks, there are different ways to skin a cat. There are different ways there's different ways to skin a rabbit. There are different ways of earning those marks. That's why it's expert marked. So sometimes, as in life, it's not binary. Sometimes it's not black and white. Sometimes there isn't a single answer to the question, and it can be a matter of judgment, which is one of the reasons why I love marking your work. Yeah? because your answers are always different, and I can give you confidence sometimes that you're doing the right thing. This is what my course looks like. This is what my course looks like. I have broken the course down into 10. Yeah, I have broken the course down into 10. So should you decide to invest in yourself and register for my course, you will find that my course starts with a little 10-minute introduction. Then we talk about the framework. Yeah, then we talk about the basics of groups, and that's an hour long. Try not to make my videos lasting more than an hour. And then there's a homework. Right at the very beginning, there is a homework. And I want you, therefore, to do an exercise, pre-populated spreadsheet. Let's get used to it. Let's get you doing group accounts. And then we move on. And I make sure you know about fair value. There are quizzes. Yeah. The notes are there. The notes are nice and simple. Yeah. Direct. Yeah. You've got questions to do as well. Yeah. Impairment. Group accounts. And so the whole thing rolls. And so the whole thing rolls. You know, and some of the standards are more technical than others. So share-based payments, that's something which is quite new. You won't have seen that before. And, you know, the videos that I've produced, you know, they are using it for staff. We're issuing options to staff. Please read that new paragraph. So what happens sometimes in the videos is the video will stop. And sometimes it'll ask you a question. There'll be a little bit of interaction. And this is just like, and in order for the video to restart, you have to click it again. Yeah, so it plays again. So equity settled share-based payments. So there's a little bit of interaction happening. Yeah, a little bit of interaction happening with the videos. All right. Please read the question. Right, hang on. Share screen. Where was I? I was taking you through a little bit of the course. All right. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of a flavor. And if I'm going to talk a little bit about my course, I can't talk about my course without talking about marking. I want to. I need to monitor your progress, to nurture you, to give you support, to give you confidence, to tell you to work harder, to tell you to work smarter, to show you how to work smarter. So there is marking all the way through. And when I say marking, it's about feedback. So although this is what the student wrote in black, this is what my answer, my feedback is in red. That's not the answer, that's the feedback. So this question generates sometimes more feedback. There's more feedback than there is question. So it's not about ticking and saying, oh, well done. It's about being very precise and personalized learning. One of the things that online learning does, it frees me up to be a better tutor, because it frees me up to mark your work and to give you feedback. This was a message I got Monday. So results were out on Sunday. Heather is now a qualified accountant. She's completed her ACCA. And she was kind enough to post this on LinkedIn. And she is somebody who went through the AAT route and the ACCA route. So goodness knows how many exams she has taken. And she's tried different methods of learning, in person, online. Anyway, basically, as that last paragraph says, she likes me. Yeah, it worked for her. Okay. And I believe it can work for you because the course is flexible. I will nudge you. All right. I will try and give you enriched learning. I do want you to pass the exam, but sometimes it's easier to pass the exam if you understand things and you're enjoying the process. Yeah. Now, this student also passed. This was another message I got on Monday. And I just wish I had got hold of this student earlier, because this student had gone round and round and round the houses. When I onboarded her, when I got her to register, I said that she shouldn't be doing a resit course. I wanted her to do the whole course from scratch because she had done the exam and failed the exam 8 times. And therefore I wanted to give her a fresh start. Yeah. If only she'd come to me at the beginning. But that's okay. She's there now. She's there now. People make mistakes. And on my course, it's the culture that we have is it's okay to make mistakes. They are learning opportunities. All right. They are learning opportunities. So that's a little bit about my course. My platinum course runs through to September. And if you were to sign up now, I could give you a nice sort of regular program of study starting next week. And then I can highlight when the homeworks are to be handed in: Six Nations, alphabet, cricket. Yeah, red, Mali. Yeah. And if you start now, you even get the odd rest week. And then you finish the tuition phase of the course in the 3rd week of July, because we've got August as August will be the month of revision. Yeah. Yeah, we've got, and so you move on to the revision phase, and there's a whole more set of information around the revision phase. I love podcasts. Yeah, I used to started off with Fighting Talk, and I had a bit of a craze on Melvin Bragg in our time, and now I just love, yeah, the rest is history and the rest is politics. It's absolutely brilliant. Love it. Love it. And I was inspired 3 years ago to start my own podcast. And of course, what am I going to podcast about? SBR. So there it is. It's free. It's available. It's award winning. I got a PQ. Yeah. I got a PQ for my podcast. Yeah. I won an award for this podcast. It's free. It's there. It's available for you. Take advantage. Yeah. Take advantage. Use your phone. You've all got a phone. QR, bang, and you're there. Or just search for it. It's really easy. My name is Tom Clendon. Clendon. Tom Clendon. That is an unusual name. And if you use the word Clendon and ACCA, or Clendon and SBR, and Clendon and Spotify, you will find my podcast. It's very good. It's award winning. I guess you're following me on LinkedIn already. If not, why not? It's free. I publish content. I do quizzes. I give little reminders. And why not? Yeah, obviously, occasionally I say, hey, buy a course from me. But, I'm here to help students as well as sell my courses. I love Instagram. Absolutely love. I've got 3 Instagram accounts, but that's another story. I've got an SBR Instagram account. Difficult sometimes to get too much technical knowledge across, but bits of inspiration and bits of news, and yeah, why not? Why not? If you're into Instagram, why not follow me? Why not find me? Why not follow me on Instagram? Different people like different things. If you're visual, I guess it's Instagram. If you're audio, I guess it's podcast. But the washing machine broke down the other day. How do we fix it? We went on YouTube to learn. And if you want to learn a bit about SBR, you can go on my YouTube account. You can see I've got over 5,000 subscribers. Now, obviously, I'm not an influencer that gets on the TV for that. But in my own little way, I'm making a difference, I hope, to the SBR community, to the ACCA community. Now, there's over 90, well, there's 90 videos there, and there's more going up all the time. So some of them are short, some of them are question debriefs. Have a look, have a browse. Why not? It'll give you a feel to know me and to know SBR a little bit better. These are free resources. Obviously, if you come on a course with me, I'll give you a pass assurance. If you come on a course with me, I cover everything. I mark your work. It's structured. Yeah, I take you right up to the exam, tuition phase, revision phase, mock exams, 24/7 WhatsApp support. It's a world class. It's a platinum approved by the ACCA. It's called platinum because it is platinum. There's another resource. The ACCA's practice platform. You've got to use that, whether you're on my course or not, because I'll be directing you to use it. Right. I've slightly overrun. I was thinking we might go half and half. And I've spent more than half an hour talking about the exam, talking about my courses, talking about the free resources that are out there. And I've kind of finished my script. And now this is freestyle. It's open to you to ask me anything about SBR, and I will answer. Yeah, no, okay. So first of all, you don't need to rote learn the names and number of the accounting standards. You don't get any marks for quoting that in the exam. Secondly, if you put the question on everyone, then everyone can see the question, and then that they can think about the answer as well. I do offer revision courses. Yes, I do. To do the revision course for June, you need to sign up ASAP because the results are out. So I do offer revision courses. Let me just remind everybody of my WhatsApp number, because if you want to WhatsApp me, you need to, it's a very efficient way of getting hold of me. Even when I'm visiting my mother, I have my phone with me. And I can normally respond. So I do offer revision courses. Yes, I do. They don't come with the pass assurance that I offer on my platinum courses. For the pass assurance, are there any conditions attached? Only one condition for the pass assurance, and that is that you do the exam. You enter the exam, and I back myself that you will pass it, because I will have encouraged you, cajoled you, supported you in doing the tuition phase of the course and doing the marking. And if you're not ready, then there is an opportunity, or there is the possibility of flipping you forward to the next sitting. So if you're not ready, if you've been ill or there's been some problem and you're not ready for the exam, and it's in your best interest, I will transfer you to the next time when you are ready. So the condition is you have to get 40%. All right. I believe you will pass. Yeah. Because if you're not ready, we defer you. It is possible to have a bad day at the office. Of course it is. And if that's the case, then I support you through the immediate reset with fresh mock examinations. So yeah, I do offer that pass assurance. I can provide full details of that. If you want to, please WhatsApp me, please reach out to me, and I will, support that. Happy to take invoices from employers and get you on the course straight away. So as soon as you tell me who your employer is and give me the ability to invoice them, I then onboard you straight away, and I'll invoice the employer in due course. Tash, is it worth to refresh your understanding or knowledge to do a full consolidation question, or just learn how to spot the adjustments and how to calculate them? That's an interesting question. I think you need to understand how a balance sheet works and how a P&L works. And that is something that I try and address within the course. But you're not going to be asked to prepare a consolidated set of accounts from scratch. Yeah. And I don't, therefore, on the course, work an original question from scratch. That's quite a different technique from saying, here's the finished answer. If we change that number, this number also changes. And that's, so I try and be exam focused. I will retake APM in June. Do you think I am late for September SBR now? No. I mean, it's tight, but it's not impossible. I think it's useful to focus on one exam at a time. If you come out of the June exam, you've then got basically 2 months of tuition left, or 1.5 months. And if you work hard, that's okay. So please, Layla, yeah, don't rule out, if you do sign up for SBR for September and you find that it's a bit much, then I defer you to December. But so unless you try, you don't know. But it's good to have your eyes open that you know it's going to be tough. Do I give out full scholarships to some students for your tuition? And if yes, what is the process to secure it? I don't have a formal process. I have, from time to time, been recommended students to help, and I have various people whom I trust to direct my benefactory tendencies in a constructive way. So I rely on a number of key people, some ACCA staff, other people in the field, to make recommendations to me. I don't have a formal bursary or scholarship system for people to apply and sift through. I do produce a lot of material for free, and that, in the form of my podcasts, in the form of my YouTube channels, my YouTube channel. So please take that as a gift from me to you. but there's no application form for you to fill in for a bursary. How many weeks of content is the revision course versus the standard full course? Good question, Thea. The revision course is tight. The revision course is effectively 6 weeks. So we talk about, for September, we talk about August being the month of revision. We talk for June about May being the month of revision. So the exam is in June. It's in the first week in June. The course opens up in April. So you've got a little bit of April, you've got the whole of May, and then you've got a little bit of June. So it's a sort of a 6 weeks intensive process. The revision course comes with 3 live classes, comes with marking of assignments, it comes with marking of mocks, and it comes with revision notes to improve your technical knowledge, as well as exercises to make you improve your exam technique. So the revision phase is that end phase, and I do sell that revision phase as a standalone product, but it's also at the end of the tuition phase as well. So people who come on my platinum course get the tuition and they get the revision as well. So I hope that answers your question. Mads, do I need to know all of the accounting standards in detail? Recognition, measurement, initial, subsequent presentations. Is it worth half the marks? Good question. Accounting standards overall probably do represent about half the marks in the exam. Obviously, you've got some numbers on groups, you've got ethics, you've got, alternative performance measures, which are not necessarily orientated in integrated reporting, which is not necessarily about IFRSs. So about half the marks are for IFRSs. I worry about the word detail. You do need to know the principles, but it's about applying them. It's not about regurgitation. So imagine you had a situation for 6 marks where you were told that the factory had burnt down. In the process of the factory burning down, you had damaged next door. So the fire also damaged next door, and they were suing you, and we were claiming on insurance. So our property was insured, we were claiming. Discuss. Now, in that scenario, there are 3 different accounting dilemmas that you've got to address with your knowledge of accounting standards. If the factory has burnt down, what accounting standard is being tested there? What's the buzzword? What's the key word that you've got to think about if your factory is burnt down? Because the question is not going to say, thank you, impairment. The question is not going to say, what is the definition of impairment? Going to give you a situation where you have to recognize. So yeah, so you're talking about impairment, you're writing the asset down to the recoverable amount. There may or may not be a number. If your neighbor is suing you, because the fire on your property has partly damaged their property and they're suing you and we're being sued, what standard is that? Provisions. Yeah, you've got to make a judgment as to whether it's probable or possible. The past event has already occurred, the damage has occurred. And if we're insured, then we're looking to apply our understanding as to whether it's a contingent asset, whether we should recognize an asset or not, which almost certainly you wouldn't recognize an asset. Almost certainly you would make a provision, and almost certainly you would write down the asset. So you're applying your knowledge on 3 different scenarios. You're given one solution. You're giving one problem to diagnose, and it's 3 different accounting standards, consequences that you're dealing with. And then the question could say, well, what's the deferred tax implication of the impairment loss? And how does that affect the cash flow? Explain to an investor how that affects the performance of the business as measured by profit and cash. And then you can see how something like that is weaved into a 10-mark question very, very easily. And so this breadth of knowledge is really important. And this application of knowledge is really important. Al says, is it too late to do the exam in June? No and yes. No, it's not too late to do the exam in June if you're a resit student. If you've done the exam already, or you've completed a study of the syllabus already, then you're in a position to revise for it. Great, go for June. And I will support you. Yeah, you can do one of my revision courses if you sign up for it ASAP. It's not too late for June in those circumstances. But if you're a virgin, if you haven't started studying the syllabus, yeah, sorry to give you tough love, but if you haven't started studying, whoa, wake up, wake up. Yeah, wake up. So it depends on your situation, Al. If you've already done a shed load of work, I can help you pass it. If you haven't started, June's gone already. Sorry. Straight talking, that's all. No point in being otherwise, in my opinion. I've got two revision courses, two types of revision courses. I've got the Revision Plus, which contains a lot of marking and has a payment plan, and that is £647. And we'll close. I've got a few places left. So on current sales volumes, it will be closed in 48 hours. And I've got a revision core, which is cheaper, a lot cheaper, because it doesn't include the marking element. I restrict the numbers on my revision plus in order to maintain the quality of the marking and in order to stay happily married. Most people will do the international variant because it's easier. If you want to do the UK variant or the Irish variant, I will support you. I will support you. If you want to do the variant papers, I have the material. I will support you. You can see my WhatsApp number is clearly on display there. So if anybody has any questions whatsoever, they can ask me now, or they can contact me directly on WhatsApp and I will answer, because that's what I do. I try and help people pass the exam. One way of doing that is as a signed up student, where obviously you get my undivided attention. I also pump out stuff on LinkedIn and YouTube, etc. But people ask me a question on WhatsApp, I'll always answer. Message me directly on that one. Message me directly on that one. Let's have a conversation about that. Are there regular standards tested? On my course? Yes. On my course, so I've got built-in quizzes. I've got built-in assignments that I take in for marking. Absolutely. Standards are regularly examined at SBR, including financial instruments, regularly comes up. Goodwill regularly comes up. But you have to cover the whole syllabus because you never know. You never know. I have a golden rule, which is about the hour. I try not to go over the hour. Because it's quite tiring, or it's quite kind of, whatever, law of diminishing returns. So if you do have a question, then please fire away. Let me know what your question is, and I will try and answer it. Otherwise, I'm going to be saying au revoir. Excellent. Thank you very much. Good luck. If anything I can do to help you pass this exam, you know where I am. You know what I'm about. It's the only thing I do is help students pass SBR. Yeah, I don't teach on SEMA. I don't teach on AAT. I don't teach advanced tax. I don't teach AAA. I'm an SBR man through and through and through. Thank you. God bless. All the best.